Hello and welcome to episode 53 of the Subject Podcast. That's it. This has been, a year? And now this is the episode just after that year, isn't it?
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
That is how
this
math
is
works.
This is the new year of the podcast.
Second year of podcast.
That's it.
This
I
is
am Michael, one of your hosts, and joined every week I have Chris. How are you, Chris?
I'm feeling optimistic.
Optimistic.
I
Interesting.
mean, there are things going on that I am enjoying at the moment. So I'm just gonna keep them quiet for now
Okay.
and just wait and see what happens. But I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I noticed you're starting to get a little bit ripped in your right arm. Things are going well.
Yeah, things are going really well for me.
I'm enjoying the way things are right now.
It really just centers myself.
Yeah, it's odd that every now and then you take a suspiciously long shower. Anyway,
Nature calls.
this episode is kind of a mashup of lots of little different things. Some big things have happened recently in this week, which I would assume a lot of you have heard by now. That the good old Duke has finally kicked the bucket. To be honest, not surprised.
He had a good innings though, didn't he?
Your boy looked like
99, man.
If you've seen photos of him, he looks like a crypt keeper. You know what I mean? Like he looks like
he did look like he was. He looked a lot like death for a long time.
The dude looked like death has been like trying to take him for the last 10 years, and he's just like nope. Every night death comes in, he's like, let's go. He's like, nope, I'm gonna stay here. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So we're starting off with how the vaccine rollout has for COVID has been, let's say, what's a good word to describe it?
Goofed.
Done goofed.
Goofed.
Yeah.
I feel
Ryan
like
done goofed.
done goofed is the lightest way we can put it. Intentionally done goofing is probably more accurate. Because I feel like the whole thing behind the AstraZeneca, and if you guys don't know, Scott Morrison promised us 4 million COVID-19 jabs by the end of March. It's now basically mid-April, and we're 3.5 million doses behind that target. Ooh, so close.
Like, I know a few people who have had the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, they have not had any crazy reactions. And the thing that annoys me about the vaccine, right? People are saying, you see on the news, you'll see an article of, someone's had a reaction to the vaccine and they're in hospital, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If you were to say get 7 billion people, right? Okay. You got 7 billion people and you give all of them peanuts. You're eventually going to get someone who's going to have a bad reaction to it, yes?
Yeah, you're eventually going to find someone.
So what? Should we all just cancel peanuts now? No one should have peanuts?
Yeah, it's kind of silly that people are trying to cause all this outrage over the fact that a few people have reacted negatively. And while, it is a considerable amount of people, and now doctors are saying that people under 50 should not get the AstraZeneca jab. They should actually wait for the Pfizer vaccine when it comes, which is going to be late this year, said Scott Morrison. Kind of. He promised 20 million by the end of this year, but I don't know if he's going to live up to that because, he promised us 4 by the end of March.
Yeah. Well, I know some people who did get COVID, and they said that they had it for like 2 days, and then it was like nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like yes, you should. I feel like people should just contract it, build your own antibodies against it, and then you're all good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You develop your own immunity to it.
Exactly. But it is kind of annoying. Like I don't see the negative side of the vaccine being like, oh, I'm gonna fucking get a heart attack or something from it, or I'm gonna develop diabetes. I just think that there's a lot of fear mongering being put on top of it, and the majority of the population could just contract it and then just build, what they call it, like herd immunity or something to it. If we all just build our own immunity to it, then
there's no need for the
what's
vaccine
it going to
in the
do?
first place.
Exactly.
But the vaccine is there to sort of negate any unforeseen outcomes of COVID, because COVID can trigger other more serious illnesses like asthma and like bronchitis and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can understand that, but at the same time, if you contract it, right, and if everyone else has contracted it as well, then the people who have already built immunity to it are going to be better off, and there's less scare of a mass spread.
Yeah, it's like chicken pox.
Exactly, right? It's
Goes
like how
around
you
once
take your
and then
kids
it's
to, it's like, oh, my kid's got chicken pox. Cool. Bring them to the school. Everyone will get chicken pox, and then they won't have to get it later on in life.
Yeah, easy.
So I've never gotten chicken pox, but I haven't got like the vaccine for it or anything like that.
I have had chicken pox.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Would not recommend.
No, but I mean, like, if I was to get it now, it would be dangerous for me.
Oh, yeah, it'll be 10 times worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, herd immunity and developing your own immune system just as a person makes a lot more sense. But I feel like the vaccine is there to like cancel out literally anything that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Like getting asthma, and like late stage asthma is absolutely fucked because your lungs basically collapsing in on themselves.
Yeah, I know. It's not like you want to give someone with no immune system, give them like bronchitis. They're gonna fucking die. Even the common cold would kill them,
Here's
but
some tuberculosis.
That's
for
taking like an extremity and being like, all right, we're going to do the whole population based on this one extremity of people who can't handle it. So we all now have to follow the line, just so that the small group of people. Why don't you just vaccinate them? And then the rest of us catch it. You know what I mean?
That's true, and I understand that, but at the same time, I think it still comes down to that same argument of which I think the herd immunity is good, but we've got to accelerate it, and it'll take time for each individual to, one, catch COVID, and two, recover from COVID.
Yeah. I don't know. But even then, if you were to catch it, then isolate, and then you're good, right? So you could still control, if you could control how people get it, and then people go and isolate once they get it, then that way there's no mass spreading of it.
Well then,
so why don't, instead of creating a vaccine, just give people the virus?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm no scientist, so I can't say that would work or not.
I don't see why it wouldn't work. Like, really? It took so long for us to finally develop this vaccine, and now we're getting stiffed for it. Why couldn't they just, when everyone went into lockdown, just go into each house and be like, here's some COVID. Stay here for 2 weeks.
Nobody wants to get COVID.
But that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter whether you want it or not. The fact is, it's here. No one wants to get the common cold, but we get it every year, usually.
Yeah, and I mean, there's
Shit
a vaccine
happens.
for the common cold as well, but
And the thing is, we vaccinate against the cold and all these things, and then you got super viruses.
yeah.
They just get worse and worse. So why don't you just build your own immunity to it instead of vaccinating people against it, and then the cold just evolves. And then literally will screw you over. Then you will die just from the common cold.
So
Gets to a point where it's like, have you been vaccinated? No. Oh, you're going to fucking die because this cold is a super virus now. We've been vaccinating against it for 10 years and now you don't have a vaccine? Gone skis, mate.
You can just get the updated vaccine.
Yeah, but then you got to pay for it, right?
Well, not if medical care is free like it should be.
Yeah, but you don't. It's not free for everybody.
No.
So, if anything, it's like just a way for the pharmaceuticals to make money off you. Vaccines, in a way.
This is true.
In a way.
But they do work.
They do work, and then
they do
they
save
definitely
lives.
work, and there are definitely some things you do not want to get, like, you know, smallpox. You don't want to get that shit.
No.
That's why we vaccinated. That's why it's gone, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like the same thing could happen with COVID. If we all got vaccinated against it, then it would just fucking die out because it wouldn't have that time to evolve.
Do you think it would die out?
Yeah, if we got rid of it quick enough.
Do you think we've acted quick enough?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So what's the difference?
Just don't want people to die from COVID, all right?
People have already died from COVID. It's too late.
We know it's preventable. Let's just prevent it.
The need of the many outweigh the need of the few.
Okay,
or
so
the
let's
one.
prevent it. Just vaccinate. Come on.
Or just send
Send
the
it.
infected mofo to my house, cough on me, and then leave, and then I'll stay here for 2 weeks.
And then I'll get sick and then fucking... Yeah, no thanks. I don't want to stay in my house for 2 weeks.
What do you mean? You just stayed in the house for 2 weeks?
I don't like it.
You literally
don't
just
like
did
it.
that.
Don't like it. It's not fun.
But like, if you think about it, going back to when it first started, if they had actually done that, everyone got infected in their own houses, controlled infection.
Yeah, but how many young children could be at risk of dying at that point?
How young?
Well, any like, what's the youngest that people have been infected with COVID?
Well, I mean, right now you're seeing like we have mask restrictions, but if you're under a certain age, you don't need to wear a mask. Why?
Yeah, I think it's if you're under 12. I don't understand what the mask restrictions say. If you're
Right.
under 12, you don't have to wear a mask. It does. To me, like, I get the whole claustrophobia thing and stuff being around your face,
Yeah.
and like the feeling of not being able to breathe properly. But like after a couple of weeks of wearing the masks, it's fucking not a big deal.
Depends on the work you're
It's
doing at
not-
the same time, really.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can understand that obviously you don't go up to a house to infect someone in there if they have, you know, an underlying condition. But that's different. That then means they get the vaccine. But even then, some people with low immune systems can't get the vaccine because it will still fucking kill them.
It will still kill them.
So in the end, the vaccine isn't helping them.
But then them going around door to door delivering COVID on a silver platter is not going to help
It's
them either.
controlled though.
Yeah, but they're still
It's-
going to die.
No, but you just don't give it to them, obviously, because they will die from it. Like, you wouldn't give them the vaccine. So those people sit in a state where they have to rely on everyone else to either A, get COVID and then not spread it, or get the vaccine and still possibly spread it by it just being on them.
But if the people that are around the person with the weak immune system already are vaccinated against the disease, wouldn't that be better because they wouldn't be spreading it?
But they can still spread it. If they
They
have
can still
COVID
get
on their
COVID.
hand and then they contact them
Yeah,
with
well,
it, then
that's-
they'll die, right?
That's why everyone washes their hands rigorously now and wears masks and all that.
It's
stuff in
true.
public.
But at the same time, in the progressive length that we've waited for the vaccine, over a year, more people have died in that timeline. Whereas if everyone had just been infected at the start, literally over a year ago, then right now we wouldn't be wearing masks. We wouldn't be scared of it spreading because it wouldn't spread. Because
Yeah,
people
because
would
everybody's
have
already
already
had it.
built immunity to it. Instead
Yeah.
of now, it spreads like crazy because no one's immune to it and we're still waiting for a vaccine.
I mean, yeah, I've really got no argument against that. I mean, I don't entirely agree with it because I feel like the vaccine is still the better outcome for everybody and for the world in general rather than just like regions of people.
No, don't get me wrong. Vaccine is still a good idea, and they still should have developed it anyway. But I feel like the way that they tackled the whole thing by, oh, it's crazy, it's spreading, quick, everyone, lock down. And I understand they did it to flatten the curve where they just didn't want to flood hospitals with sick people. I get that, but...
Yeah, because the hospitals are underfunded anyway.
And
so
at the
they're
same
not
time, we
protected.
didn't really understand what COVID was. We just knew it was a flu that was killing people. So people thought straight up it was like, the Spanish flu is back. Shit. Get inside.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what
But-
they did when Spanish flu was around.
Yeah.
They didn't have the vaccine against
Still
it. so-
killed
so
a
more
shitload of
died.
people.
Yeah.
You know?
But they still
Even just-
quarantined. They still had like the face mask laws and everything.
Yeah.
But
to a degree, but
Yeah,
it wasn't
to a
as
degree as
crazy as
what,
we had.
What the time was, they didn't have like carbon filters or any like actual surgical mask. It was more or less a rag over your face.
Yeah.
But it was still better than not having anything covering your face.
Yeah. But
and they didn't have the vaccine, and hundreds of millions of people died.
yeah, I mean, obviously, but people still recovered, right?
Yeah, after hundreds of millions of people died.
Yeah.
That's why we have the vaccine.
And now,
so
where's the Spanish flu?
it's not around anymore.
There you go.
Because
Herd immunity.
people developed the vaccine. We developed a vaccine for it. That's what happened.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Long after it already murdered everybody.
Yeah. So,
So
what
now,
are you saying?
what I'm saying is that my suggestion in terms of the way that it could have been handled
Just
probably
pass it
would
around
have.
like
it
you
would have been.
chickenpox at school.
Yeah, it's literally, and people like mothers literally do this. I know for a fact that maybe not the newer millennial parents who freak out about their kid eating some dirt, you know.
Oh my god, it's gonna upset your
Oh,
palate.
you put the dirt in your mouth, you're gonna die. No,
Don't
that's
do
not
that.
what happens. It's called building immunity. You do it as a child so that when you're older, you can literally survive in the world. Like, if anything, giving it to kids, maybe not obviously 6 months or people, kids that have relatively developed enough to have some base immune system.
What about
Probably
the
would be better
extremely elderly? that
Well, their immune systems
died?
are compromised, so no.
So you'd keep it away from the health workers that work at retirement villages and shit like that, because
No,
they
I'd
probably
give
have
it
to
to
get
them.
The vaccine.
I'd give it to them. What? So you know
then they
how
got 2 weeks when they
when
can.
it spread, right? Everyone went to lockdown for like over a month.
Yeah.
The perfect time to then give it to people in their homes in a controlled state, so that way they built the immunity. The virus is now gone from them because it's been a month, so it's not going to be on their clothes or anything. They would have washed their clothes by a month in. You would think so, right? And then and then you still have masks on at that time anyway. So what's the negative side?
I don't see a negative side. That's the thing. I'm not seeing a negative side.
And it's
but
not
I
just
don't
going
agree
door
with
to
the
door,
method.
like COVID, bap, and then running away. It's, who's in your house? Oh,
It's
these
like
people. Any of them have
jury
immune compromise or whatever. And then those people may be taken out, put into hospitals for safe care, and then you nuke the house, and then you bring them back when they're done. You know what I mean?
Gas the house out with COVID.
Literally, and that way you're not flooding hospitals with patients.
But if there's COVID all over the house, then bringing the person back from special care with the compromised immune system would surely get it from touching.
Well,
the next
what's the
person.
shelf life of COVID? Is it? But then the thing is, it's like if it's not like gassing you don't gas the house. Obviously, you just
just thinking,
infect them. You infect them individually with it.
break a
and
window,
then-
throw in a gas
Yeah.
grenade?
So I don't know. I feel like that would work. That would have worked. I don't know. Maybe it would have just been even harder to enforce. But if they had explained it properly to people,
I still
and
think,
then they could have voluntarily said yes or voluntarily said no.
I still think there would be those people that listen to Sky News, and of course Sky News would be all up in arms about that kind of shit, saying, "Oh no, they want to go door to door giving you COVID."
Yeah,
What do you
well,
think about
if
that?
it was
saying no to COVID testing.
like I said, controlled, they knew who was being infected, and it was voluntary, then
Yeah,
I
if-
don't
if
see
it
a
was
single problem
voluntary
with
and
that.
not compulsory, then that would be better.
Yeah.
But I mean, the government's still planning on introducing a compulsory vaccination for people who want to travel overseas.
Yeah.
So either way, you're going to have to get the vaccine. So it makes sense just to get it as soon as possible, because other countries are going to be operating like that.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the whole just knock knock. Hey guys, COVID. Bye.
Well, it's knock knock. Hello, who's in your house? Me and my mum. How old's your mum?
Who's
80.
in your
Okay.
house?
No COVID for you. Next house. Hello.
You get vaccine instead of COVID.
Yeah. Grandma gets vaccine. You get COVID. Like dead set. I feel like that would have been the best way to do it.
I mean, it could have worked.
It would have worked. I honestly don't see how it wouldn't have worked. And if it was voluntary, then even the people who didn't, voluntarily go, yes, give me COVID, then there's less people you need for vaccinations.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there would have been people who've been like, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
That's true.
And then you just mandatorily have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
People were so focused on the numbers going up in an exponential way.
Yeah,
it wasn't so worried about flattening the curve that they didn't think about that and just thought, oh,
how do we
stop it right
reduce
now.
the numbers instead of like, oh, the numbers are getting bigger. Let's
numbers.
Control the peak. It was more like, let's control the curve. Let's control the peak.
Yeah.
So let's actually say, all right, people are getting infected. All right, everyone get into their houses. All right, now we will infect people on our own, control. So that way we know who's being infected. We know where they are. We know they're in their houses. That we know they're not going to spread it around. They'll be fine. These people may not be okay. These people will not be fine. So we won't infect them, or we'll ask if they want it. We'll ask these people if they want it. You know what I mean? Like, they could have just planned the whole thing out and then been like, okay, if you want COVID, we can give it to you, but you have to follow these rules, blah, 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 and then you'll be fine.
Do you know who's running the country at the moment?
Yeah, I know who's running the country at the moment.
Do you understand why that didn't happen?
I understand why it didn't happen, because he knew it was happening and he still didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Even when he knew it was happening. And then when it happened, he was like, God damn it.
The only reason that we got promised the AstraZeneca jabs is because half of the Liberal Party are board members in that company, or they are heavily invested in that company.
Yeah.
Either politically or monetarily. So, of course, they're going to want to invest more into this company so that they can make more money off of their own investment. And then it turns out that they may be causing ill health effects. And now all this shit's coming down on it.
Yeah.
And now we have no COVID jabs because of all the health complications. And of course, people have to investigate those health complications because they got to make sure it doesn't happen to the majority of people. Thankfully, it's more often than not it is the minority. But we've still got to make sure, especially in a time of like a worldwide pandemic, we don't really want to make things worse.
But at the same time, if you know shit's going to hit the fan, if you were able to control how much shit hits the fan and the speed of the fan, then...
I would much prefer to control the situation itself, but you more often than not, you can't control the situation. So all you can do is damage control.
Well, they did try and control the situation, which was literally close everything, everyone go home, and then it was like, okay, everyone's home. The economy's fucked. Worse now. Everyone's going to lose business. And people can't pay their rent. Oh, well, at least the virus isn't being spread.
Yeah. That's literally all they cared about was
lockdown.
The numbers.
Yeah, lockdown would have been a lot shorter at the start if everyone had just been infected in a controlled way, I
mean, I agree with you on that. However, I feel like I still feel like the vaccine is the better way to do things because it is the cure for it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you say vaccine is good. I say vaccine is good. But how long has it been that we've had to wait for this vaccine? And now you're saying we're not going to get it till the end of the year.
Yeah, the only reason that we're not getting it till the end of the year and we're getting the Pfizer vaccine instead of the AstraZeneca one is because the government solely focused on investing into AstraZeneca instead of buying some Pfizer as well and sort of having a backup in case something like this happened.
Yeah.
And obviously, which didn't happen because our government's full of corrupt pieces of shit. They invested in the company that they are invested in a corrupt and and underhanded way. There's now we're suffering because of their incompetence and their mismanagement of the rollout of the lockdown because Scott Morrison started having goes at the states for locking down and the state said, well, you said it was our issue and left us to it. So we locked down and now the economy's fucked. We need your help. And he went, no, don't want to. I'm just going to keep investing into this company that, makes a shoddy-ish vaccine.
So we've had to wait, or we will wait
We
close
will
to
wait
about
to-
2 years for a vaccine.
Yeah.
That one, we are still bouncing back from the economy because we've had to wait for it. Two, people are still getting infected, like local transmissions,
Yeah.
because we're still waiting for it. You know, all these things are still going to happen until it gets spread. So if, say, 2 years ago, from the point where the vaccine will be dished out, all that damage could have been like minute compared to what has happened.
Yeah,
if
that's
at
true.
the start everybody had just controlled infection in every house, you know, people wouldn't have lost as many businesses, people would have less restrictions. Like right now we probably wouldn't even have to wear masks.
I still feel like the majority of people would say no to being physically infected with COVID. I feel like a lot of people would just
I feel
say
like
no to
now people would do it.
that. Oh yeah, like now people would do it 2 years on, but not like right at the start.
Right at the
when-
start, I feel like, yeah, people would have been hella sketchy on it for sure. But now, I guess, knowing now, it's a bit different.
Yeah, hindsight is all well and
Most
good.
people now will probably be fine with it. But at the start, we did figure out that it wasn't like a crazy death virus that was being spread around.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long until after it had become more worldly known about what it was, because we had to find out what it was before we could, you know, develop a vaccine for it. And because it's COVID-19, right? That is a type of virus. COVID is a type of virus that we already have samples of. It's just a certain strand of that virus, right? So we already had a basic idea of what it was. And I feel like if they had been more honest to the people about what it really was, instead of just being like, it's crazy, it's going to kill people, quick, everyone get inside, everyone shut down, not allowed to work, everyone becomes fucked and poor, oh, you can't pay your rent, oh, rip you. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people would rather have contracted it even at the time of not 100% knowing exactly what it was.
But I feel like that's then the media's responsibility.
Yeah, the
because
media
they hyped
must
it up
have.
so much.
Yeah,
and said,
definitely.
Oh, this new deadly virus called coronavirus, and they're making it out to be so much bigger than it was. So obviously people don't want to be infected with that kind of shit.
Yeah,
because
the
they're like,
fear mongering
"Holy
was
shit."
insane, and people were just like,
Yeah, exactly. People were afraid of it because that's what they've been told.
yeah.
Because all the media outlets were saying, oh, this is a new deadly virus, where it's potentially deadly if you have some like other, you know, illnesses besides the fact,
Yeah.
and they just get exacerbated by COVID because it's just a triggering mechanism.
Yeah,
essentially.
then someone will die, you know, from, say, lung failure, and it'll be listed down as a COVID death
Yeah.
because they maybe had coronavirus at the time, but the fact that they had poor lung health and, you know, it then got exacerbated because of COVID, they died. But really, they didn't die from that. They died from
a lung collapse.
Yeah.
But
they'll say,
the
nah, it was
trigger-
COVID.
yeah, the trigger being COVID means that, it's counted as a COVID death now.
Yeah,
Where that's not really, but it
No.
was an underlying illness that was there
exactly.
that was just triggered by it.
Yeah.
Which now we know, thanks to, you know, the last year of scientists just 24/7.
But even then,
researching
it wasn't like, it's not like only just now that we've figured this out.
No,
You know,
we've been
we've
figuring
known
it out
this
for a
now
while.
for like, you know, 6-8 months now.
Yeah, but we've still been trying to figure it out. We still don't completely and fully
Yeah.
understand it. That's why these potentially semi-rushed vaccines can be harmful, and that's why doctors go, it's best to be cautious rather than not.
Any
Because if you
vaccine
don't
can
wanna
be
die-
harmful.
Yeah,
Any
well, I mean,
medication you take can potentially be harmful.
yeah, of course. I mean, if you
Panadol can
take-
kill you.
If you take too many sleeping pills, you fucking die.
Yeah, but even then, like, there are side effects to almost any drug that you take.
Yeah,
Panadol,
exactly.
like,
That's why.
it can-
That's why they advise you not to do drugs or drink alcohol while you're on these heavy medications,
Yeah,
because it has adverse effects.
yeah, and peanuts can kill people. Like I said, like, honestly, tree nuts, they can kill people. People are allergic to gluten, and yet that's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
I mean,
like,
there's no vaccine for gluten.
right? So it's like, anyway.
It's very strange.
Frustrates me.
It frustrates me as well.
The thought process of some people.
Yes.
They just read stuff on Facebook that some random person has put up and then made it look like something official, and then they're like, this is the truth.
What?
I'm going to share this to everyone I know.
Yeah. What I find really funny is the whole backwards and forwards that Scott Morrison has had with not only members of international parliament, but members of his own parliament.
Yeah.
Like he said, it was the state's fault that the vaccine rollout didn't happen that quickly, even though he is the one that didn't bring in the vaccines to the country in the first place. And next minute he goes, oh, well, the vaccine wasn't in the country in the first place because the EU blocked it. They blocked the vaccine. Yeah, I'll go with that. And then the EU comes back and says, oh, no, we only blocked 250,000 doses right at the start, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't blocked anything since. So you're full of shit, mate. And so Scott Morrison's there just trying to point fingers whilst not taking the blame for his own fuck up.
Well, that's just what he does. That's just him.
Yeah. It's just
anything. The
frustrates
country's
me,
on
man.
fire. That wasn't my fault. That was your fault.
No, I don't hold a hose,
It was
mate.
you, mate. The fucking fire brigade didn't clean up the shit. They didn't put the fires out. It's their fault.
Oh, Melbourne, you better have a road to recovery out of this lockdown. Dan Andrews, fucking putting shit on him. And next minute, Scott, where's our road to the vaccine, buddy? What are your plans?
Oh, the whole thing is just you, me. No, you.
No, it's you.
You.
Oh, it's not you. Oh, it can't be me. It must be him.
Yeah, that's all point at this guy.
Oh, it wasn't him. Oh well, what about that guy?
Everyone put a blindfold on. We'll spin around, and point in a direction, and then we'll blame whoever points at the most person.
Yeah. We'll just find somebody to blame and just blame it on them. That is his government's entire tactics.
The thing is,
To
like,
a T.
he really just needs to call the election because
And lose.
He's not going to win.
No,
it's that
he's
simple.
not going to win.
The Liberal Party will not win this next election. If they do, I'm out. Like, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
I'll quit.
Consider moving to
I
New
quit
Zealand
Australia.
at that
I'm
point.
out. Like, it's just, if the Liberal Party wins again, it honestly will make no sense.
No.
That just proves 120% that the votes are they're not real. It's all forged. You can't believe anything that has happened in our government, and everyone needs to leave the country.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it just proves that exactly. Yeah, I've got nothing else.
Like,
to
literally,
add.
after the last 2-3 years, what has he done? He's done a lot, but it's all been bad.
It's all been bad.
Name one good thing he's done.
He,
Like, honestly, I look into like the things that the government does, and I don't always just look for the bad stuff. Not gonna lie, I want to see good things, but in the last 2 years, I have not seen a single good thing.
We are seeing good things mostly from state governments in Australia because
Yeah.
a lot of the states are run by Labor parties. So Victoria, Queensland, the Northern Territory, and Western Australia are all run by Labor governments.
Thing is, I like looking at state stuff, but that's state level parliament it's state level.
It's state level.
Federal parliament is where things should be happening.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I will admit, it's rough saying that you're only seeing good things from a state level and not from federal parliament.
Yeah, like the whole
like you're
freaking
seeing-
country.
Yeah, you're seeing more out of individual states than you are out of the entire country. It is just fucked.
Yeah, dead set. And it's all the Labor fucking states too.
Yeah.
Anything Liberal state relevant is just, it's either them turning on themselves
Or Tasmania.
Tasmania just kind of sits there and doesn't do anything.
Well, Tasmania's been doing actually pretty good. I will credit where credit is due.
Okay.
Tasmania, being run by a Liberal Party, has actually seen out this virus pretty well. He's managed it very nicely from what I've seen.
Because it's a tiny little speck.
Because it's a tiny
It's
little fucking
nothing.
speck and it matters absolutely jack shit
Yeah,
all
they're all
as to what they
fucking
do.
hillbillies down there. Then
Yeah. But then you look at states like New South Wales or South Australia, where they're run by the Liberal government.
Yeah.
It should also be noted that the ACT is run by Labor as well, which is where our capital city is.
the Australian
And
Capital
where
Territory.
Australian Parliament is, where
Yeah.
the Liberal Party run the country.
Canberra.
That state is run by Labor. And they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, like what you'll see, all the liberal states. Like, okay, I'll give credit to South Australia. They are basically completely run off renewable energy, solar
pretty
power.
much.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's great. The whole state is pretty much self-sufficient.
Tasmania's got a goal of 200% renewable energy, where
Yeah.
they'll actually be exporting it to the mainland.
Good. Like
So that's also a
that
good
stuff
goal.
is good. But the thing is, our federal government doesn't have a renewable energy plan.
No.
But on a state level, they're doing it. Like
Yes,
that's the thing. It's so retarded.
fucking backwards, because this is an international issue, and it's an issue that involves every single
Yeah.
person on this planet. Like, we're thinking completely selflessly instead of selfishly for fucking once.
Mm.
And what do federal liberals do? Oh, we need to open another coal mine.
Yeah,
no.
we need more coal to export to China. Oh wait, no, they're not buying our shit
They're not
anymore.
buying anything.
They're just
off
buying
us.
our land. Hold up, no, not China.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll
India.
export it to India. Yeah.
Because
India and Japan.
they're like the
Yeah.
only people still buying coal at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody else has just moved on to renewables.
The
because
thing
it's
with
cheaper.
yeah, it's cheaper. And another thing with COVID is that all the Asian countries where people wear masks all the time, like Japan, it barely affected them. You know?
Yeah, because they're already used to wearing masks. And then countries like Australia and America, where people think that they can do whatever the fuck they want
Yeah, dead set.
without considering anybody else's safety, just go, oh, you can't make me wear a mask. Oh, that's against my rights. That's against my human rights. Isn't that what the Second Amendment says?
Oh, you hear Joe Biden is going to try and is it the Second Amendment where he's trying to
He's
bring
trying to-
back take away guns, well, certain guns at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you can't really have a fully automatic weapon in the hands of a fucking psychopath. And gun laws are pretty lax over there. So, I mean, an increase to the gun laws would be nice to make sure that it stays out of the hands of psychopaths who just want to kill people.
Was it? Hold up, here it is. So this was 2 days ago. On the day before the U.S. President Joe Biden announced new gun control measures, the U.S. recorded its 7th mass shooting for 2021. Dude, we're in April and they've already had 7 mass shootings.
Well, that's not as bad as, what was it, like 2018 or 2017, where they had like 1.5 mass shootings per day.
Yeah, like dead set.
It was crazy. Like, how can you think that that's a good year for your country when literally one massacre is happening per day?
Yeah.
That's not a good place to live.
No.
That's not a safe place to live.
So the plans to announce the new measures were already in place before the former NFL player killed 5 people in South Carolina. The shooting brought America's death toll to mass shootings in 2021 to 38. So 38 people died already from mass shootings. The problem Biden labeled epidemic. For God's sake, it has to stop.
Yeah, it does have to stop.
So,
Obviously.
so the rule changed to classify pistols with stabilizing braces as short-barreled rifles.
Yeah,
The
fair enough.
crackdown on self-assembled ghost guns promises to provide more data on firearm trafficking and investing in community violence intervention programs.
Yeah, so he's not even trying to change the laws in any way. He's just trying to educate people on these laws and what guns are.
So a ghost gun is a homemade weapon that is assembled from parts, and they don't have serial numbers. So it makes it difficult to trace the gun, like where it came from and who owns it.
Well, I mean, fair enough.
It is legal to build a ghost gun in a home, and there's no requirement for background checks to build one.
See,
that's fucked
That's
up.
fucked up. I want that changed. That's bullshit.
Yeah, you can literally just 3D print a gun and you'll be right.
If you 3D print your own fucking gun and then you can go out and shoot whoever the fuck you want, and that be the construction and premeditation of that being legal.
So now,
fucked up.
Ghost gun kits. You can buy a kit to build one.
No, fuck that. What the fuck?
To carry serial numbers and for buyers to get background checks. So if you're going to get a ghost gun, you need serial numbers and background checks now. The new rules on pistols with stabilizing braces, which can effectively turn pistols into rifles, will mean buyers will require a federal license and pass a more thorough application process.
Yeah, well, because you're basically holding a weapon that can fire with almost no recoil, because they're like 45 or 50 caliber bullets at maximum.
Yeah.
And
so like,
it's
I mean,
tiny.
he's walking the line. He's like, I'm not going to take your guns away, but I'm going to make it harder for you to get them, and I'm going to make it more restricted, which is good. At least like it's a step forward.
Yeah, he's not taking your guns away. You just have to get certified to use those guns. It cannot be that hard. If you already know what you're doing, it's not going to be a problem.
Like 38 people dead already.
We're
in April. Like, it's a whole month where someone has died each day.
Yeah,
at least
that's fucked.
You know,
that's not a good. That's not a good time. I don't like that.
Fuck going to America.
No, fuck that.
Sometimes, like seriously, the amount of times I hear that there's been mass shootings and gun violence, it's always in America.
Yeah, it's never anywhere else.
All they say is like, "Oh, I need guns to protect myself from the guy that has guns." Well, if you both don't have guns, then what's the issue?
Yeah, there's no fight here in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Both don't have guns.
What if he breaks into my house? I need a gun to protect myself. Okay. Well, what if he breaks into your house with a gun? And then what are you going to do quickly? Oh, wait, hold up there, mate. I just go get my gun out of the safe. Yeah, just wait there. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, just wait there.
Like, what the fuck?
No. I mean...
Realistically, like...
To protect you and your family, you should really invest in Kevlar vests at that point. If you really think that guns are that much of a problem, just go out and buy ballistic body armor. Because that is going to be a better protection, and I say that protection against gun violence, because that is actually what the military uses to protect themselves from getting shot.
Yeah, but Kevlar is only bullet resistant. It's not bulletproof.
Yeah, it's not bulletproof.
You know, after a few shots, it's pretty like...
Yeah, it's the best defense and protection that people have against gun violence.
Or just better security systems.
Yeah, or better security systems.
Why invest, $40K in all these weapons when you can just invest $40K into a security system?
Yeah.
And then no one's going to break into your fucking house.
But a lot of the times the security systems are there to catch the people breaking into your house instead of preventing them from breaking into your house.
Well, I mean, like...
That's where you put up,
include
heads on pikes and...
include light sensors, cameras, and then you include, safety screens on all your windows. You know, like crim safe. It's not crim safe. It's not crim safe.
Crim safe is actually really good stuff.
Exactly. Put that on your windows and doors. No one's going to get in.
Yeah. This is true. I will vouch for that.
So, it's like they have the little crim safe pop-up things in the shopping center where they're like, here, break through this.
And you
just kick the shit out of it. And you're like, I can't get through that.
Yeah.
Then do you want to buy it? Nope. I just really wanted to kick something.
I just really wanted to try and break something.
Sometimes I'd walk past and be like, I could probably get through that. Like, if I tried really hard.
Good God. I would hope that one person at least has
succeeded, and then I reckon he just brag about it. It's like, crim safe. It's not crim safe.
It's not me safe. Moving on into other news. Obviously, we were talking at the start of this episode about the
PP
passing of
PP
of Prince Philip. Can't fucking believe you said PP. The Duke of Edinburgh and husband to Queen Elizabeth II.
He looks like 100-year-old PP, not gonna lie.
To give him his proper and full title.
Your boy didn't I was saying this the other night when he passed, and I said he was 1 year off getting the letter from the Queen.
Yeah, 1 year off.
So you reckon he would wake up on his birthday and the Queen is just like, happy birthday, and then it's just a letter saying, congratulations, you've reached 100.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I reckon that's it. I mean, to be fair, Prince Philip has had a very, very long life.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well, 99 years.
being 99 years old, but also being part of the royal Danish house of, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this properly, so Schleswig, Holstein, Sonderburg, Glucksburg, which I've probably butchered that pronunciation, but I hope I got some of that right. Way back in the 1920s, man. That's a long ass life.
Yeah, well, he was around World War II, Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time.
A lot of that
He's
stuff.
seen a lot of wars. Apparently, he's very racist. Well, he was very racist.
That's what I heard as well. A lot of like satire comedy shows in Britain make fun of him for being racist.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's just a product of his time, which doesn't obviously
That's
excuse
true.
his actions or his words. But you know what can you do? He is literally royalty.
Yeah, it's...
How do you coach royalty on
Well,
racism?
you see, the thing now with royalty that gets me is that, like, the Queen, Prince Harry, and all them, you know what they are?
They're public figures.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
That's
They
their
don't
job.
do anything.
They don't do anything.
They don't do
Well, I mean,
anything.
Sometimes a lot of the tradition for the royal family is to send their sons into the army.
Well, they have to join the army
Yeah,
because it's a
it's part of
public.
their,
It's public. It's a public look. They have to.
public service. They have
Exactly.
to join the royal army
Yeah.
because
It's
the
like
prince.
for us Australians anyway. Like, because I guess we are technically under.
We're still part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, so we're kind of like, oh no, but it doesn't really affect us. But in England, I'm sure they were like, ah.
Well, like half the population is crying, the other half's going, ha ha, he's gone.
Yeah. Well, like, didn't he die like 20 years ago? He's just poor taxidermy and robotics, right? Dead set.
I thought that was just an AI of Prince Philip just rolling around.
I
for
thought
the
it was a
last 10
meme.
years.
But
Sort of, yeah.
yeah, it's. I mean, of course, it's sad and like we're making it a little bit lighthearted, but yeah, it is. It's interesting because like, if we didn't have the royal family at all, nothing would change. Because they don't do anything.
Not in today's modern world. They don't really
No.
do anything. I mean, Prince Philip set up the Duke of Edinburgh Royal Academy or something like that, which has affected 400,000 lives at this point.
Over 100 years.
over 100 years, but still, like,
Well, I mean, not
not
wouldn't be exactly
completely
100
100 years,
But
but
yeah.
you know, long enough. So he has had a very rich life.
Apparently, what's her name? Meghan Markle will not be attending the funeral. So the Duchess of Sussex is not expected to attend the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. A palace spokesperson said that she won't be there. Interesting.
Well, she probably doesn't like him.
Well, I mean, she wasn't really welcomed too much in, was she?
Yeah, not really. I mean, she wasn't part of the royalty before.
No.
She was part of the common peasants.
She's a peasant. We do not want them apart, because if they can think themselves as high as us, then what are we?
She is but a commoner.
We stand high while they sleep in the dirt. They're one of the sorry people.
They're one of the guilt people.
Uh,
Oh man! I mean, in some more positive news, because I feel like this is just gonna get.
we're just roasting a dead guy
We're
now.
just roasting a dead guy.
Royalty,
now.
dead royalty. I don't know
I
if
don't
this
really
is
feel like this is appropriate
if
at this point in time.
the Queen. If you're listening to this,
We're sorry.
sorry, we love you.
Yeah.
Please.
Please don't have us executed.
She can't.
Not anymore.
It's
she
against
can't.
my rights. Makes you wonder how much longer the Queen's got. How old's the Queen?
The Queen's like
Queen's doing
Queen's
well.
like 95, surely.
She's doing well.
I'm pretty sure Philip was pretty well older than her when they got married. I don't know by how much.
Queen Elizabeth II. Your girl is... Ooh. She was born in 1926.
Okay,
so she's 95.
94.
Well, the 21st. Okay, she's 94.
She's 94. So
She will be. It'll be her birthday soon.
yeah, she'll be 95 soon.
So her reign started the 6th of February, 1952. So that means next year it'll be 70 years.
God damn. She is the longest ruling monarch in history or something, isn't she?
Yeah. She looks like a sweet old lady, you know what I mean? She kind of
really
does. She
really
kind of does. She kind of reminds me of my nana. You know, like she can be ruthless at times, but I think she's a sweet old lady. Every time I think of the Queen, I think back of this video of her coming to Australia. I think it was like the Outback Spectacular or something like that. And she was watching them lead out all these cows. And she looked so uninterested. But then as soon as she saw the cow, she was like, ooh, cows. And she got like really happy and the smile. I was like, yeah.
That's an old lady thing to be
That's a humble
about.
thing to see. She's like, fuck yeah, bring them cows out. I like cows.
That's true. I mean, holy shit. They've been ruling for a while then. 70 years.
70 years.
Fuck me.
It's a long time. I reckon her son is just like, now it's your turn, mother.
This is what I've been waiting
Charles
for.
is just like, I'm next.
It's my time to shine.
He's like, you've been ruling for 70 years. When is it my turn?
I love it when a plan comes together.
I wonder if Charles is going to snuff it before Elizabeth.
Maybe.
And then she'll die. She's like, nah, Charles. Just despite you, you're going to die first.
Outlive everybody she possibly can.
Yeah.
And then pass it on.
Definitely.
That would be fucking hilarious, I'm not going to lie.
I watched the thing. It was like an interview with the chef that cooks for the royal family.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, like what, just interestingly, like what do they eat, and that kind of stuff. Apparently they have fish and chips one night of the week, every week. Like that's just the thing, that there's just fish and chips. The
That's
Queen
cool.
hates spice. She likes things very plain.
Yeah,
Whereas
she's an old white lady.
like Philip is just like, give me all the spice.
Yeah.
So he always has to make like different like meals.
Philip was in the military when Britain was still occupying India, I think. So of course he would want the spice because he was there and being a commander or a captain.
Know. 99. I feel like he just didn't have a palate anymore. He just needed to taste something.
Please, I need to feel something.
More spice.
More spice for me, please.
Yeah, and apparently she would always have like breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, and then dinner. Yeah. And she'd always have scones with...
Of course.
Yeah, always
Of
have scones.
course.
They always
Scones
had to have
and tea.
scones. Yep, that's it.
That's the British.
She didn't have
high
cream,
tea.
but she had jam or something. Like there was no cream, but jam. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was like,
okay, so
that sounds pretty good to me.
The Queen's got a sweet tooth.
Yeah,
That's all right. That's
not
all right.
bad. Yeah, interesting.
Sort of lightens the mood a little bit.
He said that it was like
compared
quite repetitious. Like he kind of ended up making the same kind of things every week.
to- yeah, I mean,
But I mean,
probably
if you're
would
the
happen.
fucking Queen, I'd eat whatever the fuck I wanted, right?
yeah, exactly.
James, ham and cheese toasty.
Fetch me a swan.
Fetch me a toasty, please. Ham and cheese,
I prefer swan and cheese.
no spice, or it will be your head.
It better be plain white bread. Can't stand that seeded shit.
If there is crust on my bread, I swear to Jesus, you will be excommunicated.
I said no spice, and I mean no spice.
If there is spice in my soup, then there will be you in the ground.
If there is one single spice in this soup, God
If
help
this
you.
isn't just potato leek, I swear, I will kill you.
I don't want to taste any salt in this. I don't want to taste any butter in this.
Be like The Dictator. Have you seen that movie? Sacha Baron Cohen, where he just like does this, like does the old execute hand gesture, and then the guy just disappears. Is there spice in this? Oh, just a bit of cracked pepper.
We will not be seeing you again.
Send him to the ranch.
To the gallows.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Moving on from the Queen.
Because we're starting to roast some old people now.
So some interesting advancements have happened here in Sunny Coast, right?
Yes. Well, the SEQ Water just handed in a report to the Queensland government saying that there are 2 feasible dams to produce hydroelectric power in Queensland. One is in far north Queensland. The other one is Barumba Dam, which is just out near Gympie, which is an hour-ish north of where we live, Mike.
Yeah, I've been there.
I've been there as well. It's a beautiful place, and I reckon it could be very good because they are planning to power around 400,000 homes with this on the north side of the Sunshine Coast. So it's going to be good, and we're well on track to the government's 50% renewable energy by 2030 target.
Nice.
We're already at 20%, so we just need an extra 30% in the next 10 years. We'll be sweet.
It's good.
Absolutely. And I mean, like we said earlier in the episode, I think it's South Australia is already basically 100% renewable target by 2030. I don't know how far off they are off of that, but they're probably very close.
Yeah.
Considering it is South Australia. But Queensland has got a huge amount of potential for renewable energy sources like this because we've got a whole lot of dams. We've got Whopper Dam out in Yandina, which could feasibly produce hydroelectric power. Probably wouldn't be for many homes because it is quite a small dam, but it could be good. What is it, Wivenhoe Dam out near Esk?
Yeah.
That could also be very useful to use it as hydroelectric power. But then there's heaps of sites that we could use wind turbines on.
Wind turbine, yeah, definitely.
Because there's heaps of... there's a big shit long fucking mountain range running through the whole state. So you can put fans on that.
Queensland is like, you literally have the coastline. Just put them along the coastline, where literally wind is created.
Yeah. You literally put it just offshore and it'd be creating power for eternity, basically.
Yeah. Sure, wind turbines can be kind of ugly, but
it's better than looking
what's the alternative?
It's
no
better,
ocean?
Yeah. It's better than looking at bleached coral and a dead ocean than a live ocean. Amazing looking coral and a couple of fucking poles sticking out of the ocean, creating wind.
Could literally put turbines in the ocean.
Yeah. Because there's always a breeze running across the water.
Yeah.
At some point, you can always count on there being wind on top of the ocean. That's just a given fact. But I like that the Queensland government is considering 2 sites, not just one.
Yeah.
And a gentleman called Professor Bartlett. Sorry, I had it here before. Here it is. He said that the Queensland government has obtained land near Barumba Dam, upstream on Yabba Creek, and near Mount Byron, which is west of Somerset Dam, for potential pumped hydro dam sites. Way back in 85. So yeah, it looks like now there's just going to be a huge connected stream of renewable power coming through Queensland.
It's good.
It's going to be sick. So I'm very keen for that. That's not the only technological advancement that we have made this year alone.
Yeah.
I'm also talking about Neuralink made a good progression in their new technology. Mike, you showed me the article this morning. So in a small video.
I mean, we've spoken about Neuralink before. it's basically just this chipset that they put in the connected to your brain essentially. Elon Musk is hoping to have it advanced enough, say in 5 years, so that we'd actually be able to, people who obviously voluntarily want it. It's not like it's going to be forced on people.
This is compulsory now.
Yeah. You'll actually be able to communicate without having to talk to each other. You can literally transmit your thoughts to someone else, which is a much better way of communication. Because if you think about it, I'm trying to think of something. And for me to get you to think the same thing that I'm thinking, I have to dumb it down to words, explain it to the best I can to you. And then you have to interpret that and then imagine what you're interpreting, right?
Yeah, but my image is probably going to be different from yours.
Exactly.
Considering our imagination is different.
So if I could literally just beam you what I'm thinking, and then you can, see it in your own head or think it as well, it just makes things so much easier, right? You won't need to talk to each other anymore.
No,
just transmit it.
It would be good, but
that's still a few years down the track. But at the moment, the plan for Neuralink is to actually help people with paralysis and Alzheimer's and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to cure disablements and diseases like that. There has been an advancement where they have implanted a Neuralink chip into a monkey. And the monkey has been able to essentially play a video game using its mind, which is Pong.
I mean, to be fair, the monkey is very good at Pong.
Yeah,
he's
so
very good at Pong.
There's a video in the article, so check that out and you can see it. They'll be in the description with everything else. So basically, what it happened was that they trained the monkey to use a controller, which is just a joystick essentially, and it is able to move this cursor around into these colored blocks. And then when it does that, it gets a bit of banana smoothie. So it does that over and over again until the chipset is able to read its thoughts, its electrical pathways, and essentially predict by how it moves its hand to where the cursor is going to go. So after a extended period of time of it moving this joystick and playing the game, the chip is able to remember the way that the monkey thinks and the way that it wants to move its hand, and then implement that, and then basically control the cursor that way.
And basically taking out the physical control that the monkey had, so it's no longer using the joystick to control the game at all.
Yeah, so
it's just doing it with its mind.
It started off with the joystick plugged in, and then they unplugged the joystick and left the joystick there, so it was still moving the joystick, but the cursor was being moved with its mind. So the monkey thought it was moving it with the joystick, but it wasn't. And then they removed the joystick completely, and then it played the game Pong literally with its mind.
Yeah.
And it was fucking good. And they even increased the difficulty of the game, and it was still poning it. Like, seriously. That's a solid monkey.
That was surprisingly good at Pong.
Yeah. So, this is a pretty good step on the path that they're going. And eventually, the cure of paralysis, like, they're hoping to be able to, the first prototype to be able to give to people with paralysis, and they'll be able to control smartphones and computers with their mind. So they'll be able to talk to people with their mind. They'll be able to, Google things, literally do anything on electronical devices with their mind.
Yeah, so they have a bit more independence that way.
Exactly. You'd probably even be able to control your own, electronic wheelchair, with your mind.
Yeah, I mean, if the wheelchair has a Wi-Fi connection and you can connect it to your phone, then I'm sure that you'd be able to control it that way. If you can't control it in literally any other way.
So it's a great advancement and development, and it can only really get better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited to see where they go with this, because treating neurological diseases like Alzheimer's and unfortunate things that happen to people like paralysis
Yeah.
whether they are, from the waist down or from the chest down or however it works for them.
Yeah.
And trying to give some of those people back some of that independence they had previously is still bringing dignity back into their lives somewhat. Makes it easier for them to live.
And then even then they'll be able to, if they started implementing synthetic limbs, like robotic arms, then literally with your mind you'll be able to control it. Because at the moment they have sensors on the muscles, say like if it's a robotic arm, they have sensors on your biceps or wherever it is that your arm was lobbed off.
Yeah.
And it senses the muscle movement and the tendons, so it then predicts what you want to do with the way that your muscles are moving. But it's a slow, it takes a while for it to read it, so you can't just open and close your hand as quick as you can now. It takes time for it to process and then actually do it. Whereas if you can just beam it from your brain and then just, it's instant.
With the current prosthetics that you were talking about as well, it also takes time for the amputee to work out how to use that prosthetic.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, they've got to think about which specific muscle to move to get that one action, and it's just basically relearning how to use a hand.
Yeah.
Essentially. Whereas with the Neuralink, it'd just be like, oh, I want to open my hand.
Exactly.
Okay. I want to close the hand. Oh, it's done. Sweet. I want to pick up that mug. Oh, cool. I didn't really even have to think about.
Exactly. You can even just think like how you would normally, open and close your hand, move the arm over there, and then close your hand. Like you literally just have to close your hand as if you normally would, because to close your hand now, you're sending electrical signals to the muscles to then contract and close your hand.
Yeah.
Right? So you just do that. You just
it's
close your hand. Like it's literally that simple.
It's something your brain has already trained itself to do and has trained the body to do, and we do it automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever I want to pick up something, it's just automatic. I don't even really have to look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
To be able to pick it up. I just know where it is and I know where my hand is. Bam, done, picked up.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's great.
Absolutely. I reckon
it will be awesome to have.
I'm very keen to, like I said, see the progress and progression of this this project. It seems like it's going to help a lot of people.
Apparently, there was a comparable demonstration that was done in 2002 that was able to get a monkey to... What was it? So they got a primate to control a video game via a neural interface in 2002, but not to the same extent that they had.
I feel like it wouldn't be the same extent. They'd also have like nodes everywhere over the top of the chimp's head just to read the right brainwaves.
Yeah, and it's a good way to validate what they've done too.
Yeah, so it's doing more or less the same process, but in a more efficient way. They're getting better results. Yeah, and it's more effective, which I really like, and that's progress. Like it may not be the be all and end all of that technology, but that's going to be in development for a little while now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we'll see what happens in the next few years, I guess.
I'm keen. Yeah, I'm keen. See what happens in 5 years.
Yeah.
So for our last story here, so in Cairo, 22 mummies have been transported downtown. So 22 mummies were moved from a museum where they resided for more than a century. So they've been moved now to a new museum. There was a fanfare broadcast live on state television, and it was complete with a military band. There was a 21-gun salute and a host of Egyptian A-list celebrities. Oh, I didn't know they had those, but okay.
Just because they're not celebrities here doesn't mean they're celebrities elsewhere, mate.
Oh, no, I just didn't know that Egyptians had such a big... Anyway. So it was so this served as a grand opening in a way for the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, where the country's oldest monarchs were set to land, and an invitation to tourists to return to Cairo after the pandemic as well. which is cool.
I mean, that probably would bring back a lot more tourism to
Yeah.
Cairo, especially cities that they've been moved to, closer to where the Great Pyramids are, because they're very close to Cairo, being in Giza.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to actually. The public weren't allowed to be on the street to where they were actually being moved. Everyone had to stay in their homes and
Wow.
watch it on TV.
Oh shit! Righto.
Yeah,
I mean, fair enough, because COVID.
yeah, but also
Because
3,000
Yeah.
year old mummies.
yeah, you want to keep them very, very well kept.
Yeah.
Don't want old Jimmy over there getting his filthy, grubby hands all over him.
It's pretty cool. So ancient royals who were on the move include Ramesses II,
Nice.
the longest reigning pharaoh, and Queen Sepsis, one of Egypt's few female pharaohs. After sunset, crowds gathered in downtown Cairo among the enthusiastic young families who brought their children along in hopes of getting a glimpse of the historic moment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. These are our ancestors, said Sarah Zahir, who came with 3 friends. Ooh. A uniform officer yelled, "If you want to watch, go watch it on television." Disappointed, the crowds retreated into nearby coffee houses to watch it on television or on their phones.
Oh, fair enough. Apparently, each mummy sat inside a nitrogen-filled box.
Yeah,
On
they
top
all
of
had
these
like their own
vehicles.
carriages and everything.
This is cool. Since exposure to oxygen can cause decomposition
Yeah,
of the mummies. That was really cool.
and there's a video to that too. That
The
will be
parade
in the
route had also
description.
been repaved for the occasion to minimize jostling.
Yeah,
That's
they
amazing.
they fucking went
I love
all
that.
out.
That's so funny.
It's a 5-mile path.
That's so cool. I love that they just went so extra in moving these mummies.
So along the 5-mile path to the new museum lay stretches of working class neighborhoods that were deliberately hidden from view ahead of the parade.
Rough.
A reminder of the jarring divide between Egypt's celebrated past and its uncertain present.
Yeah, because Egypt's not run that well, as far as I've heard in recent times.
Which is why I'm like A-list celebrities.
A-list Egyptian celebrities.
Yeah, what's
Could
that?
be people from Egypt that are famous.
Someone who has a bit of money in Egypt.
So-
Oh, you're a celebrity.
Someone who has $10 in
You
Egypt.
own 3 McDonald's. You're a celebrity.
You are now a celebrity.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool, hey? Interesting week.
That is really cool. I enjoy that. Look into mummies being moved. That takes.
Yes.
I'm glad they went so extra. I gotta say,
Yeah.
it really means that they care about their heritage, but at the same time, hiding the poor people away from.
That's pretty rough.
That's
They're like, the world is going to see this. We don't want no poor people. We don't want the sorry people in here.
Hey, you're making the place look like poor. Get out of here.
They're acting like queens and stuff, and then they're saying that we're the sorry people.
Well, that just about does it for us for this week.
That's it.
If you want to look into anything that we've talked about more in this episode, everything will be down in the description below. All links to everything we've talked about will be there, along with the like and subscribe button, which you should definitely hit
Yes,
that.
smack it.
Smack it.
Smack it like you would the annoying screaming child in Woolies.
Yes. Yeah,
With
that
your
is exactly it.
Fist.
Yeah. God, I hate to take it one step further.
We
and
don't
say
condone violence.
Fist the like button.
We don't condone violence, but yeah, you know.
But smack the like
you know,
button.
smack it.
Go follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're also on Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yes.
So hit us up there. Yeah, we're
Every
here every
new
week.
subscriber means we get one more subscriber.
Okay, PewDiePie.
So make sure you also get 2 of your friends to subscribe.
Yeah.
Because then we'll then have 2 more subscribers.
And hey, it's only 2 more of your friends that you've embarrassed.
And
So-
it's free. So if
free.
you end up not liking it, then you feel free to keep subscribed and go watch something else.
Yeah, don't unsubscribe.
No, stay.
Once you have subscribed, you can't unsubscribe.
Ring the bell if you're on YouTube, so you get notified of our new episodes as well.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that.
Ring.
Ring-a-ding, ding.
That's
bell.
it. And a lot of the topics that we talk about kind of get lost in the algorithms, so they don't get listed that high. So every like, every subscribe, every share helps us get seen. And then more people come, and then who knows, maybe we'll start actually recording these visually as well.
Yeah,
You can actually get a good look at what we look like too, if you want.
God, I would hate that.
Or stay with Podbean.
Yeah, I would just stay with Podbean and Spotify.
Maybe we'll do a live show too. We'll see.
We'll see. That is all to come. Stay tuned for that. And until next week, adios.
Adios.